what you should do, Dylan?
How we doing?
Hi.
Hi.
So subdued. I think we're also going to be joined by other members later on, as they're currently in the middle of Discord updates, Gordon. So something to keep an eye on going forward.
Could be worse. Could be Skype.
You gotta skip straight over the question of the day, huh? All right. Okay.
Okay, question of the day. I've got a question of the day. Question of the day. Would you like to see Twin Suns move towards another Billboard project?
Yeah, that's a good question of the day. Quite topical, since that's what we're going to be going into. Good call, one, Dylan. That's our question of the day, ladies and gentlemen. Do you want to see Twin Suns Foundation produce a new Billboard project in the future?
At some point in the future. Even if you say yes, don't worry. It's not going to happen for years at the least. All right.
It'll take some time, but it is something we definitely want to work towards. And so we're introducing a stretch goal for our currently ongoing Holiday Reads Drive 2018, which
More on that
met
later.
its goal yesterday. Yeah, we met our goal. We've actually exceeded it now. We're at $1,810 out of 1,700. So we are fully funded in both places. So that's why we want to implement this stretch goal, as I believe we still have, 25 days left on this fundraiser? I think that's right.
So what you could say, Brian, is that this is a fully operational fundraiser.
Yes, you could say that. This is a fully funded and operational.
It's a fully armed,
yes,
funded operational. No tunnel costs here.
So that stretch goal, we're currently sitting at $1,810, as I'd already said, but we wanted to try and aim for about $2,100. And in order to try and encourage everybody to get us there, we want to try and hit that number by August 5th. Where if we collect that money, $2,100 by the 15th, anything collected over and above that, half is going to go to a new Billboard fund. And then I believe, Dylan, were you also wanting to do yours as well?
Yeah. So yeah, if it makes it in the 21, we get the 2,100, which is enough so that we have 100 books for each location. I will then add 10 books to the pile that's going to the Bay Area, because the UPMC has told us that they have a lack of storage space. Mm-hmm. So at max, they could probably take around 100 books. So
that's going to be a good thing, though, because the location in San Francisco, which we chose, the Tenderloin Recreation Center, is actually going to be helping us by advertising for that event ahead of time. So we're potentially going to see quite a few kids in that area show up, which means we're going to need all the books that we can get.
Even if we bring too many, I have ideas on where.
Well, yeah, but I want to definitely make sure that we have enough at least. So
exactly.
And you'll probably get worn out if enough of these kids show up, so that'll be good.
I only have, because I gave Brian a few, I only have 5 milk crates left. So each one holds roughly 40 books, 30 to 40 books. So yeah, if we can make it so that I run out, I don't have enough, I have to buy more milk crates, that'd be swell. Like, I'll be the guy. If we shared that meme, Yeah, why can't I hold all these books memes? Meme that I made? I don't know.
So
I don't know if we have.
yeah, I don't know if you have. You probably should, because obviously we're 100% funded, so that needs to be a thing. So again, everybody listening, we are doing a stretch goal. If we can collect the up to the $2,100 mark, we're currently sitting at $1,810. By August 15th, we will start doing the Billboard Challenge again, where everything above 2,100 raised, half of it's going to be going towards the Billboard Fund, the other half towards more books.
Which are both good things. Another billboard is a good thing, and more books are good things. So support both because we want more people to be reading this stuff. Also, I think our new location for the next billboard should be the moon.
Well, you know, you keep saying you want to send a rocket there. I think we need the rocket first, and then you can do a billboard to the moon.
Yeah, but we're taking a rocket to the moon so we can put a billboard up on the moon.
Right, but you got to take these things in steps.
I think that'll get the word out there.
Oh, yeah, well.
American nonprofit sends rocket to moon to put up billboard. Continue the Star Wars Legends universe.
Wow, those guys really want that timeline continued. Shh. We don't do things that make financial sense around here.
If we did, we would all get paid more than one hope and one dream.
Yeah, well, you know, hopes and dreams, people. That's all we've got to hand out around here for now. That and apparently quite a few books because because we hit our goal. That's at least 80 books each location. So quite a few books we're going to be able to hand out. Unfortunately, that's not to you guys. So, did we want to move on to our next topic? Or...
Hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of been a slow news week this week, so we're pretty much picking up on news from last week from San Diego Comic-Con.
Yep.
Well, they made this joke on another podcast, but I guess I'll again.
Hold on, before you do this, this is a listener discretion advised. This is a Dylan joke. Okay, Dylan, proceed.
So, at San Diego Comic-Con, it was announced that there's going to make a Darth Revan figure for the vintage line, the 3.75, which is going to be coming out sometime next year.
Which is already sold, by the way.
Now, it was pointed out by the illustrious and completely credible, not biased in any way, definitely will. If you do email them, they will definitely get back to your emails and treat it fairly. You know, the trusted news source amongst Expanded Universe fans of Jedi Temple Archives, that this is the same figure. This is pretty much the exact same figure that they of the previous 3.75. So if you already have that one, you're just getting the same figure with some new packaging. But if you don't, and you don't want to pay like $200 or $300 price on eBay for one, you know, this one will be like $12.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'll go for the new one because I was not so lucky as to pick up the first one.
Yeah. I don't know. What are everyone's thoughts on this, I guess?
I'm kind of excited. Obviously, I'll be picking up at least one. I like supporting Legends products when they're coming out, so definitely on my purchase list. Anybody else?
I'm sorry. What are you talking about? Collecting things? I was under the impression that we didn't collect stuff because we just read books. We don't collect figures.
No. That's right. I forgot. We don't collect things. That's my mistake. Amelia, you are 100% correct on that. Legends fans do not collect Legends stuff.
Yeah, guys, you better not buy this figure.
Oh, jeez. Did you see that thing? That was massive.
Yeah, so I kind of had some mixed results, or mixed reactions to it. Because on the one hand, yay, we're getting more Legends figures. On the other hand, we've literally just had a Revan.
Well, maybe we just need to prove that the first one sold so well that it wasn't a fluke.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
This one you'll sell
Not only,
again.
not only did we have a Revan 2 years ago, demand for it was so high that they re-released it this year, and now we're getting another Revan next year.
Well, you know, Revan
we're getting more
money.
Expandiverse content. That's great.
I think they should release a figure of his great-granddaughter, Cecile Shan.
Be good. I think that'd be good.
I'm also worried that they may be, they may just be printing it because it makes the money. Which, I mean,
well,
there's other figures.
That's why any company does anything, right? Is they gotta make money, so
it's the wrong reason.
That make the money.
It's more Legends, but like, it's not going to be indicative of they're going to do more of this. It's just this one figure is selling a whole bunch, so we're just going to cash in on it.
Well, some advice for anybody from Hasbro that might be listening. The Star Wars Legends Fan Choice Polls Facebook page has quite a few different character options on there that had the votes that were discerned by a bunch of Legends fans. What was that, about a year ago-ish?
Yep.
Somewhere around there. And quite a few votes for quite a few different characters. You might want to consider that Legends line, guys. I know you were hinting at it, and I'm pretty sure that too would print money.
Mm-hmm. Not like print money in the way that re-releasing Tales of the Jedi will literally print money, but
well, you know,
if you're listening, Marvel, please re-release Tales of the
Jedi. And while we're on the wish list thing. So, but yeah, so there was that news. What else did come out in the news lately, guys? Oh yeah, there was this small announcement that was made. What was that?
Actually, does anyone have anything else that came out before we get to the big topic?
It's going to take me some time to remember that anyway. Other news. Well, we did have some minor news with the Forces of Corruption mod being updated. That was nice. Supposedly, Dylan tells me this, but I haven't been able to download it yet, so we'll see if that's actually the truth.
So yeah, I don't know if we've ever talked about this in one of these podcasts, but
we should have.
Ryan and I are big fans of the game Star Wars Empire at War. In fact, I just checked my Steam stats, and I am 15 hours away from having 1,000 hours in that game.
How long?
1,000 hours.
1,000 hours. Okay, I thought I was a fan, Dylan. You clearly got me beat on that one.
There's no hierarchy of fans, as Matt says. Anyway.
Wow.
So there's a mod. It's a great mod called Absolute Corruption Mod 2.4 that just adds literally all the things.
Pretty much. Now, it used to be Legends only, correct?
Well, the Absolute Corruption Mod 2.4 is still Legends only because it hasn't been updated.
Okay, so 2.4 is so that mod is still Legends only.
It's still Legends only, and it's just like if there was a ship that had was mentioned in one page of like a comic or like shown, it's in that game pretty much.
Yep. They got some pretty awesome models in there too. Really loved a lot of the ships they put in there.
The problem with the mod was that the AI they added so much new stuff, and the AI was kind of stupid. It wouldn't you were fighting wouldn't build a lot of the new stuff. So like it added, for example, Jedi and Sith, and just like normal like a Jedi or a Sith unit you could have, or advanced factories and whatnot. And the AI wouldn't build these buildings because it wasn't scripted to. And also in space battles, the battle cruisers were severely overpowered to the point where you could just spam 5 battle cruisers and you could you're basically unstoppable. Even if they had like a dreadnought, you could have a dreadnought and 2 battle cruisers and you'd be unstoppable.
Yeah, I recall that. That was a rough situation because the other mod that goes onto this one was this was Absolute Chaos that we're talking about now.
Yeah, Absolute Chaos, which is the add-on mod for Absolute Corruption 2.4. It
A
fixed
mod
all
of
the
a
lot
mod
of these issues
almost.
and added, in my personal opinion, the best part of Galactic Civil War being 165 planet Galactic Civil War. Which
that thing was so awesome.
But it fixed the problem. The battle cruisers were nerfed. They're still powerful. They were still powerful under the old mod, but like not OP. You could get around them.
Right.
The AIs would build all the new units, so you could actually fight all the new units and stuff. And it was all around a good quality of life. Then earlier last year, Steam updated, and the modder who was keeping the Absolute, and it basically updated to the point when we got Empire at War Online, pretty much, when the online servers, that update basically killed the mod. And the modder only had a disk copy, not the Steam copy of it, and didn't want to go through the trouble for what he saw was a dead mod of updating it. So the mod kind of died. And you could still play Absolute Corruption 2.4. You couldn't play the Absolute Chaos mod, which fixed all the problems.
Right.
You still have all the
tried to do. And I tried to do that too, but going back to the original base version was just painful with all the balancing issues, the ships missing, all that fun stuff. I was like, oh, and of course the 160 plus planet mode was missing too. That was sad.
So great because there's so many planets. And the other thing about that is that the Galactic, well, in the original mod, the Galactic map was accurate, but it was shifted so that the Galactic West was actually in the Galactic North, and like basically it was just turned once clockwise. So it was a little bit confusing in that way, but the planets were in their correct orientations amongst each other.
I think Dylan and Brian need to start a podcast just about their gaming habits.
Well, yeah, but what did the update change, Dylan? Just so that people who are listening might, if they're interested, they might be able to tell just based on what the update is.
So the update, which came, new team got onto the mod and they pretty much updated it. So it updated with more ships, if you can believe that, more hero units, which again, random villains from like comics and well, I forget his name, but the guy from Crucifixora, the guy who's leading the Imperial fleet, he's in it. There's like all of the he's in it. There's a guy from the Carillion trilogy, an Imperial from the Carillion trilogy is in it. There's guys from the movies who were like backgrounds, moffs or admirals, like Nita's in it. Mahdi's in it. Screed, if you've watched the Droids cartoons, the villain there, he's in this mod. It's just and they added
bunch of stuff. It sounds like, but the modes are back to
Warlord Zinch is in it.
So they've got basically the who's who of Legends characters are in this, and it sounds like they brought back the balancing and all that fun stuff. So basically, what Dylan's telling me is that we need move on to our next topic because the sooner this podcast ends, the sooner I can get that onto my computer and the sooner I can jump back into the galaxy.
Now, the one downside to this, the one downside of this mod is there are Gonzadis in it. There is Admiral Radis is in it.
So you're telling me there's some mixed canon stuff going on too?
Yes, there's some mixed canon stuff.
The way I was looking at it is the mod wasn't really canon anyway, so it really didn't matter to me.
And you don't have to build those ships, but I would warn you if you're going to play this mod, make sure you have Wikipedia open, and if you don't recognize a name or a ship, just do your research and see if you want to build that ship or not. But otherwise, great mod.
So that's a good thing that was recently updated. I haven't been able to. Or I haven't seen any new news on our Yuuzhan Vong at War mod, friends. Have you seen anything on that recently?
No.
No, they're still looking for voice actors. Gordon, you were one of the voice actors they got. Isn't that correct? What are you voicing for them? The Star Galleon?
Mhm.
That's cool.
Oh, Haven Battle Dragons, by the way, are in the game.
Oh, sweet. I need
Or
to
in
get
the
that
mod.
thing downloaded. So,
Sure.
yeah.
Like their actual Legends counterparts, they're not that good.
It doesn't matter. They're still in the game, man. So yeah, no, that's definitely something that I want to jump into again here relatively soon. Is one of those games. But should we move on to our next topic?
Yeah, speaking of things that are both canon and Legends, technically.
Yep.
So
yeah, this is the big topic that everybody's been talking about, right?
Right.
Oh boy,
Yeah.
I've got a bad feeling about this.
That's what a lot of fans were saying, actually.
So if you haven't heard about this, I would greatly if you haven't heard about this bit of news, then I would like to ask, can I come live to the rock you just crawled under?
Yeah, because it's a really nice rock.
But yeah, Clone Wars is coming back. Clone Wars 2 has been announced.
Yeah. So my understanding was that this was announced at Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con, correct? And
Yeah, I believe so.
And to my knowledge, it was supposed to be them finishing up the seasons that they had already technically had ready to go, or is this something new entirely?
I honestly don't know. I
Because
want to say
I've seen both out there when I've been looking through all the groups. I've seen both.
Thinking, I hope it's the former.
Yeah, as obviously, okay. I don't know how I did it, but I got past watching the movie. It took me about 2 years to jump back into the show and actually see any of the show after the movie. But once I did recognize that there were a few decent episodes in there. I wasn't a fan of everything that was in it, but some of it was still fun and entertaining to watch. So if it's a continuation of that, and it's going to be true to both canons and doesn't pull in anything from, specifically from the new canon, then I might actually be interested. But beyond that, I mean, that's a lot of stipulations, and I don't know that they'll do that. I mean, that's going to be a challenging one now. I mean, you can talk about the show itself as the news, or the fact that they're doing it at all as the news, because that's kind of what I took away from this as the big story, was that they're looking at continuing something that, to everybody's knowledge, was never going to be continued again.
Well, I would.
Right. I mean, like they did have. I don't know what they're doing with this, like with the new episodes, but I do know they had a season 6 in the works, and like when
season 6 was the lost episodes,
because it was on Cartoon Network, which is a competitive network to Disney. It got canceled, and so like season 6 got canceled, and then eventually they did finish some of the episodes that were partially in production, and then they released them on Netflix. But beyond that, like I don't know. I guess this may be like the finish of like the plans they had for season 6. So we'll see. This will be interesting.
Well, according to them, they had season 7 and 8 already written.
Mm-hmm.
How many seasons can you fit into a 3-year war?
Well, apparently quite a few. But I think the other bit of the news, which I keep neglecting to bring up every single time I talk to somebody about this, is the fact that it was going to be, or at least it was announced that it was going to be released through Disney's new streaming service. They didn't
got conspiracy theorists going. The only reason they're bringing it back is so that people sign up for Disney streaming service.
Which is true, and I don't know if it's going to be exclusive to that, but I think it would be foolish for them not to make it exclusive to that.
Well, I mean, you can always find pirated links. There's pirated links for everything. Not that we condone that, but...
Well, no, but I mean, like other official services, like I know Disney has currently worked with Netflix quite a bit, so you never know, it might show up on Netflix. Then again, it might not show up at all.
Well, it might be a timed exclusive, like it's...
Yes, that's what some other people have been saying. Timed exclusives. But, yeah, I mean, if we had a second, question of the cast type thing, it would be, what are your thoughts on this? Because it would be interesting to see the reaction. I've seen fans' reactions vary quite a bit. Gordon, do you have any thoughts on this? None? See, Gordon's reaction is like a lot of reactions. Actually, some of my friends who are fans of what Disney's been doing lately, up until their most recent stuff, were a little bit, whatever about it. Some of them just don't care at all. Others have been really excited. Others have been very turned off by it. I'd say they're probably in the minority, though, because most of the talk that I've seen out there has been fairly exciting. But I think it's particularly interesting because it means they're looking back at past things they've been doing to try and get excitement for the franchise back up again, or at least that's my point of view.
They canceled something that people still wanted, and they wanted it continued, and they continued that, and so that means to a degree they are listening to the fans. And that is potentially, like, even if you're not into Clone Wars or never were into the Clone Wars, I think that's a good time for us that they could potentially listen to the people who are like, hey, we had all these Legend stories we wanted, and those got canceled. Is there a chance you would continue this?
Right. The counterpoint to that, which I'll make, is that Dave Filoni has stayed with Disney throughout the transition. He himself has actually wanted Clone Wars to continue. Rebels was an offshoot of Clone Wars that was basically made to, I guess, placate him and the Clone Wars fan, but it didn't really do its job. Not to mention that Filoni at current is the only person within Lucasfilm that a majority of the fandom still trusts, especially after The Last Jedi and the Han Solo movie.
Right.
And Disney has started a streaming service that they're trying to get off the ground. So when this news was announced, I kind of wasn't surprised at all. It seemed like a logical next step to me.
Well, that's the surprising thing, though, because they really haven't done too many logical moves with the franchise in the last 4 years, at least in my mind. They've made a lot of moves that didn't make good business sense in my mind. And this does make good business sense in my mind. And that's where I'm finding myself a little bit torn, because depending on what it is, it might make sense to support it from the fact that if we end up supporting it, as a Legends fandom, we're encouraging them to continue looking at stuff that used to be as potentially profitable for them, as we keep insisting that a Legends continuation would be profitable. It's almost like a chance to demonstrate that, but I just don't know if that's going to be the case or not. So I find myself a little torn on it, but overall relatively positive on it.
Is anyone here going to actually watch the new episodes?
See, that it depends on what the new episodes are.
If they become available on like an attainable service, yeah. I mean, I don't watch enough Disney to invest in like a Disney streaming service, but like if it's available on a platform I already use, or if like my library gets them once they're on DVD release, because I've actually watched quite a few shows just from borrowing DVDs from my library. I may just end up doing that just to check it out. Give it my 2 cents.
I mean, when the seasons continue, they're obviously going to put it on like a Blu-ray DVD and try to sell it.
Right. I think it ultimately comes down to, is it going to be Legends? And if it is Legends friendly as the Clone Wars could be anyway when it comes to Legends,
it wasn't very much.
I'm more open. I'm more open to supporting it. Don't go listing it all, please. Please don't go listing it all. I'm trying to convince myself to say that.
At a different point in the EU. I know I feel like there's somebody who died at a different point in the EU, but in like that was killed off in Clone Wars. The only one I can think of is Evan Peel, though.
Evan Peel and Adi Galil, I think, were the two. They had different deaths.
Okay.
But there's the wonderful. Thank you for Fantasy Flight for the wonderful retcon of Clone Wars that they gave us.
Right, which worked quite well, and I'm not sure a lot of fans know about that, so it's worth rehashing here. Go ahead.
Yeah, so if you have as soon as we started talking this, I went ahead and grabbed the book. But if you have the Force and Destiny role-playing game, the core rulebook for it, on page 353, in the top right corner, you'll see a data pad with the title Colonial Trouble. The second paragraph of that data pad reads, for example, I intercepted a mandate from officials on Cardia ordering that all records in their military academies pertaining to the history of the Clone Wars undergo, quote, review for intellectual purity, unquote, by a dozen Compnor agents. While I can only guess what kind of intellectual purity Compnor wants to enforce, it's got me wondering if there's some information about the events in the Clone Wars that they're worried someone might read.
So basically, it's giving us the point of view that these are not necessarily 100% accurate, that these might be propaganda.
This is Compnor's tampering with the histories of the Clone Wars. We're seeing the government sanitized version of the Clone Wars, not how it actually happened, which is what we saw in the comics and the books. That's the way that most people have read that retcon.
So that gives you some leeway, even with the contradictions that are within the show. If you like the show, but you don't like contradictions, there's your solution right there.
So what you're saying is that it's an inside job.
By somebody in the Compnor.
multiple Compnor officials.
Okay. Well, somebody was heading up this idea. There has to be somebody in charge. We got to find that person.
We're probably talking.
Maybe they'll create a character in that position with the last name that's, maybe an anagram of Filoni.
Hold on.
There you go. So yeah, no, it's interesting news. I know a lot of people have taken it different ways, but I think overall it's potentially positive. It's just a matter of where they go with it. So will they make the best business choice out of this good business choice, or will they just make a decent business choice out of their business choice here?
Or will it flop, just like Solo and Solo definitely flopped. I think The Last Jedi was a semi-flop, The Last Jedi definitely didn't lose money, whereas Solo did lose money. And I think with the Clone Wars continuing it, they could potentially lose money if they mess up enough,
Yeah, but they've got a lot more fans positive about this than they do negative about this.
Anagram for Filoni,
quite interesting.
Nil. OLFNIL.
I mean, we already know Cad Bane wears that cowboy hat that Filoni wears.
Not the same cowboy hat.
Get it?
I'm pretty
I
sure
thought
it's
it was
blue.
supposed to be Filoni's hat. I thought that's what I always heard, is that it was supposed to be modeled after the hat he wears.
It's probably modeled. It's a different color. I remember it's a different color. I'm almost certain it's a different color.
Was it brown versus black?
Maybe.
I can't remember.
It's a color palette switch.
Interesting. Well, did we have anything more to say on this particular topic, or did we need to go over something else? Actually, I don't think we had anything else. Did we have anything else?
I don't know. That's been quiet as well. I saw Ryan in there earlier. I don't know if he's still there.
I think they should write a novel about these new Clone Wars episodes, and it should be written by the same author who wrote the novelization of the Clone Wars movie. Now, who was that again?
That was Karen Traviss.
Was that Karen Traviss?
That was Karen Traviss.
Yeah, they should totally bring back Karen Traviss to write about the Clone Wars.
No, that's...
I am going to remain silent on that one.
All I'll say, Amelia, is what you are saying is literally impossible.
Please note, audience, please note that Dylan's calling this out as being literally impossible, whereas every single time that Amelia has brought up the rocket to the moon idea, he has not said that.
So what you're saying is that getting a rocket to the moon is more feasible than getting Karen Traviss to write for Star Wars again?
Someone getting a rocket to the moon is more feasible, yes. That someone doesn't have to be us.
See, you didn't want to take it that far.
Have a rocket lying around that they want to send to the moon?
I'm sure we can find some B2s or something.
No. Maybe we just hitchhike off of somebody else's rocket. I'm sure they've got enough of it there right now. Dylan, you grabbed a towel before this whole thing started, so maybe you're our hitchhiker.
Maybe. Well, I only got a towel because in order for my audio to not be bad, I've had to turn off all my fans.
That's true. So
No, this
if
isn't
we,
that-
got, if we don't have any more topics to go over, maybe we should rehash our stretch goal just for those who might have missed it at the beginning of the podcast. That sound like a good plan?
Sure. We'll just
Kind
there'll
of
be an
rehash.
official announcement on the page, either sometime. Well, it's kind of late today, so maybe sometime tomorrow.
Mhm.
Tomorrow's a Sunday. We'll eventually get it up. It'll be there eventually.
Mm-hmm. But basically, for those who are just now joining us or might have missed it at the beginning, we have met our goal for our Holiday Reads Drive 2018 fundraiser of $1,700. We've actually exceeded that goal. We're sitting at $1,810. So well done, everybody. Thank you for everybody who donated. That's it's going to be getting a lot of books for those kids out there, and that's great. But we'd like to announce now that we are doing a stretch goal now for $2,100, and if we can hit that goal by the 15th of August, on or before then, we will be doing the. Getting tongue-tied here. We're bringing back the Billboard fundraiser challenge here, so that basically every dollar above $2,100 that we raise, half of it's going to be going towards the new Billboard fund that we'd like to start up and start putting away some money for a billboard in the future. And because somebody had asked me this before, we don't really have a lot of details on what that billboard will do. In my mind's eye currently, that's going to be something very similar to what we did before. And it probably won't happen anytime sooner than maybe the beginning of 2020. And if this does well, and if we are successful in meeting this goal, I imagine that this is something you might see happen with future Twin Suns Foundation fundraisers. That is something we're going to have to discuss as a team first, of course. But it is something I would like to see happen so that we can slowly build up to our goal and get another award out there like we've been trying to get to all along. But in the meantime, the other half of all that funding that we're going to be raising beyond 2,100 will be going towards additional books for both locations. And because one of our locations is a rec center, and that rec center sounded very enthusiastic about helping us advertise for this event, I'm getting the feeling we're going to need all the books we can get. So if you're out there, please go ahead and head over to the www.twin-suns.net/donate. Check out our fundraiser there and help us out if you can. And if you can't help us out directly, you can always help us out by sharing.
This is a good topic. What are we all reading?
What are we all reading?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not reading.
I usually read about 10 books at a time. But as for Star Wars, I've been working on Fate of the Jedi, so I'm still on the first book right now.
Okay.
The Jedi? That's a good one.
Have you started to hate Dolly yet?
Oh, I hated Dala long before this series because she was a bitch from the beginning. For the first time she was introduced, she was like, what is this lady's deal?
So, without spoiling anything, she'll look like a saint. Her early endeavors will look like sainthood by the time you're done.
That's heresy, Dylan.
In comparison, trust me, when you get there.
Gordon, are you reading anything? Ooh, I just finished that one. It was a decent book. That was that Christy Golden that wrote that one? Yeah, she's one of those authors that's actually written for both the Warcraft timeline and the Star Wars Legends timeline. So if you guys like the authors that write in the Legends timeline, definitely check out their works outside the Legends timeline because they have some really good stuff out there. And if you're a Warcraft fan, definitely look into that. I know Stackpole's written for Warcraft. He did the Vol'jin book. Yes, he did. Yeah, that was Stackpole. And he did, and for those who don't know Stackpole by name, obviously he did the X-Wing series of books alongside Aaron Allston. But for myself, I'm not reading anything particular right now. I'm actually getting ready for a nice long trip. last season, and I'm trying to study up on everything I possibly can. So that's my reading material, is everything I can find on this trip.
He's leaving us right before the fundraiser ends.
This is a challenge for my entire team. They're going to have to run this thing without me.
Abandoning us.
I believe in you. I believe in all of you.
And we all know how betrayals end.
Well, you know, fires and Kashyyyk and whatnot.
Getting stabbed in the heart. Oh my goodness, a couple of weeks ago, somebody on my page was insisting Jaina killed Jason by decapitation.
What?
Yeah, he was like, read the books, dumbass. And like everybody's like, no, she stabbed him in the heart. And he's like, yeah, she stabbed him in the heart, and then she cut off his head. Read the books. And he like kept going on. I was like, what?
I don't think she had the time to do that, did she?
I think she emotionally broke down, like even while her blade was before she deactivated the lightsaber.
Yeah, I don't think she would have decapitated her brother, even though he was, you know, all dark side and whatnot. I don't think she would have taken that far. That seems a little.
Yeah, like there was a bunch of people replying to this guy, and they were like, that's not how I remembered it. And he's like, you need to read the book, and we're all like, what?
Okay, to be fair, I haven't read that book for a while.
I read it like I think last year.
Yeah, I mean it's probably been a few years for me. So yeah, but oh, I think it's Amelia's that's doing the clicking.
Oh, possibly.
We were thinking it was Dylan.
So my microphone is on my laptop.
Dylan, you didn't tell us what you're reading, did you?
No, I'm reading Rogue Planet.
Rogue Planet?
I tried to read that book. I couldn't really get through the first few chapters.
What are you thinking of Rogue Planet, Dylan?
It's fine. I wish they would get to Zenobia Zakok, though. I'm 100 pages in. We still haven't seen the planet.
Well, that is quite the Rogue Planet, then.
Has it even mentioned the planet yet?
Oh, yeah, it has. They're going to it.
No, okay. Well, you're getting close, then.
We're getting there, but I'm like, I've already read New Jedi Order. I'm reading this book for one reason and one reason alone, and that's to know what happened to the planet before all this went down. The third of the way book, and we haven't gotten there yet.
You're getting there, though. You're getting there.
Yeah, I got like maybe 3 chapters through, and I was like, what? This book is too weird for me.
Oh, with Anakin like glide racing.
I don't know. I don't remember it. Now every time I see the name Greg Bear, I'm traumatized because I know he's an established sci-fi author and like has a good reputation and stuff. But I can't help but remember Rogue Planet and how terrible it was.
Was not a fan of Rogue Planet, huh? Interesting. Okay, well, I don't think I have anything else to add on that. You guys have anything else you want to go over before we wrap this up? No?
No, not really.
It's nothing but silence. Well, then we want to go over the question of the podcast, Gordon? It's the worst idea ever. I'm totally going for the rocket to the moon first.
Yay!
For those who don't know me, that was complete and utter sarcasm there. Yes, that is the overall goal that I've hoped that Twin Suns Foundation would eventually move towards. We're doing a lot of good in the meantime, which is excellence. And let me tell you, it is one of the best things that that I've ever done in person is actually done one of those donations. I've done a couple of them. Dylan's becoming a little bit addicted to them because they're just one of those feel good moments when you get to do something good for other people.
He likes handing copies of Vector Prime when kids tell him that their favorite character is Chewbacca.
To be fair,
one time.
To be fair, only one time.
I didn't hand the book to him. I thought it would be amusing. And the second time, I wasn't even the one who made the joke.
Okay, yeah. And that was what was that? That was the guy who was dressed up as Kylo Ren the second time.
It was Kylo
We looked
Ren's
at each
fault,
other.
not mine.
You and I looked at each other when that question was asked. Who's your favorite character? And they answered Chewbacca, and we looked at each other like, "Don't you dare!" And of course, Kylo Ren comes up and just says, "Hey, what's that book in which he got crushed in?" Yeah, we don't have that one.
He stole it. It's like,
So yes, short answer is yes. I desperately want to see Twin Suns go towards the billboard.
Well, as you all know, I would love if we could get a billboard on the moon, but in the meanwhile, a billboard on Earth, preferably in America, that would do.
Yeah.
That would be interesting. How often do explorers go to Antarctica?
Hmm.
Maybe Mount Everest. Maybe we could do that. People go there all the time.
Let's just go for broke. Put it on the highest point in the planet and the lowest point in the planet. What is
Yeah,
that?
yeah, we'll put it on. Yeah, the Mariana
What was that?
Trench.
Thank you, Mariana Trench. I was like, there's a trench I know of. What was that one?
Yeah, we'll get one way underwater in the Mariana Trench, and we'll get one on the very top of Mount Everest.
Okay, but we'll still have the high ground. Hey, we still have the high ground on the Himalayas there.
by the way, has anyone ever noticed that when in Revenge of the sorry, not Revenge of the Sith, Return of the Jedi, when Vader said Obi-Wan has taught you well, it's when Luke has taken the high ground on the catwalk.
Yes.
Yes, I did belatedly realize that at I think about 4 viewings in, but yes. Okay.
So, Gordon, what's your opinion on getting another billboard out?
Yes, who would trust us? It's not like we were successful with the first one or anything.
They should have donated that money to charity, guys.
Hey, Gordon, if you aim for the stars, you'll at least touch the sky, man. Come on. Well, he's not wrong. Dylan, need I ask?
That depends.
Quote
Well,
unquote,
I
it
think
depends.
I'm the only one in Twin Suns who actually has a somewhat contrary opinion. And that's
No. Go ahead.
all right. Yes and no. Yes, if we do it. We do another one in San Francisco. I can see 2 ways that it makes sense. That is, one, it becomes like the trilogy finishes up. This current trilogy finishes up. We get into the next trilogy, and there's still nothing of Legends getting continued.
Right.
They just keep going onto this path a few years down the road, and no more Legends. And there's still no Legends contest. Then yes, I can see doing it again as a reminder. Or B, what we've been hearing with the whole, what we've been hearing about Disney and Lucasfilm and leadership behind with Kathleen Kennedy and everyone else, if that all comes to a head and there is a complete cleaning of house and like changing of the guard, then yes, I can see doing another one as to basically tell all the new people who have gotten their job that, hey, this is, the previous guys got fired for not doing what the fans wanted. This is what we, the fans, want.
Right.
Outside of
agree
that,
with both those stipulations. That's kind
outside
of
of
how
that, I don't see where else we would put a billboard that would make sense because we've looked, and B, what the good messaging would be.
Well,
So a tentative
I
yes.
yeah, and I think I agree with that mostly. And for those who don't, foundation within the Page Owners Alliance groups, basically we did look at doing another billboard elsewhere. We've thought about outside of
On
like
2
Disney's
separate occasions.
headquarters. We thought about doing one near the Celebration, right? Originally we did.
It was that. It was three occasions. That's
speaking of,
Celebration.
We applied to get a booth at Celebration again, which you may or may not know. So we should hear back by the end of this year. So if that gets approved, we hope to see you all at Celebration.
Yeah, we'll definitely let everybody know on that one. But until then, we're still in the dark. But I don't think
it's still up in the air, but we'll see.
We won't hear on that until probably the end of October at the earliest. But yeah, we've looked several.
So yeah, by the end of the year, we should know.
Several different times we've looked at doing another billboard. It is obviously something we would love to do, but it does depend on where you put that billboard and who your target audience is. That determines.
The moon. The whole world will see it if it's on the moon.
It does depend on what your actual text will say. It'll vary anyway, based on those items. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot that goes into the billboard behind the scenes. But once we get the ball rolling on it, it's usually pretty easy to get done. Any other thoughts? Comments?
Not really. I said my piece.
You said your piece? No, and to be 100%
said my
clear,
controversial opinion.
It's not really controversial because I'm kind of the same opinion. So if it's controversial, we're both controversial on that one. But I think honestly, your situation A is probably going to be the most likely, where we do one outside of Lucasfilm again, because they have not at that point continued Legends, which is why I say the earliest we would do one would be in 2020. But that's just my forecast crystal ball that totally doesn't work 100% of the time. Just some of the time.
Hey, I mean, that crystal ball told you that doing a billboard to begin with would be a good idea, and look how far we've gotten since then. We've gotten pretty far, and most people thought we were crazy.
Right.
What is it? Where's the file? See, here's the problem. I was going to say we've donated this many books in how many years, but we've donated so many, I don't remember what the number is off the top of my head. So I have to go to our file where we keep it.
I know we're closing in on 1,000. Yeah.
638 books in 3 years.
Right. 638 books in 3 years. That's not bad for just a bunch of random Star Wars fans, huh?
We're on track to donate another 180.
Yep. It wouldn't be bad if we tried to push that to 1,000 by the year's end.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lofty goal, though. I mean, I'm going to leave that up to all of you guys for the next 25 days or so.
Mm-hmm. You could argue that we probably could have done. You could argue that we probably could have done a lot more good if we donated the money to like a charity, like Force for Change or something like that. But we're pretty content with.
See, here's the thing, though. I've never been much of a doing my own thing, and forming your own charity. So that's what we did. Made our own charity.
One of these days, that meme is going to get out.
Yeah, well, one of these days it will get out. Wouldn't be surprised if one of those days is in the next year or so. All right. Well, maybe we should wrap this up because I don't think we have anything more on this particular topic. Gordon. It is July.
Yes, it's July.
All month it's been July.
Julius Caesar.
He's not wrong.